Hi guys, my name is Emmy. I just thought I'd come on here and do a quick review of some of my favorite vanilla scents. And I've watched a lot of vanilla reviews lately, and um, my absolute favorite vanilla scents are those that have vanilla mixed with a bit of musk. And I haven't seen a lot of reviews on that specific type of vanilla. I've seen a lot of vanilla, like gourmand vanilla reviews. I've seen a lot of woody vanilla reviews. I've seen a lot of boozy vanilla reviews, and I really like all of those. But I wanted to talk specifically about vanilla that is light and fluffy and airy and just like puffed up a little bit with a little bit of nice musk. So let's get started. Okay, the first one I want to start on is something that I'm sure everybody knows about and everybody's heard of, and that is Tihota by Indult. And I hesitate to even call this a musky vanilla, even though the two notes that are listed on Fragrantica are vanilla and musk, because this is really just the absolute most pure, beautiful vanilla extract kind of scent. It leans slightly boozy, but it's just lightened and lifted by that musky accord just a bit. So this is not a really light, fluffy scent, but it is really, really beautiful, and it's kept from being too heavy by the fact that it has this musky accord in it. It's a really perfect vanilla. I often like a bit of like white floral on the top to lift it up, but with this it's so pure and so beautiful. It's a warm, edible vanilla, and it doesn't need anything else besides the vanilla and the musk. It's just really gorgeous. For me, it's a bit prohibitively priced. You can see I just have the sample. At this point, I can't really justify buying it, and that's because, for me at least, there's an excellent dupe. And while nothing is better than Tihota, this comes pretty close, and it is really affordable. It's only about $10, maybe $15 at Ulta, and it's Vanilla Musk by Nemat, or Nemat, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. But this is really nice. It is, again, it's just vanilla and musk. But it is a little, I think, it is a little heavier on the musk than Tihota. It's a little less kind of a pure extracty kind of scent, but it's really beautiful. I've seen reviews say that it is less potent than Tihota, and that's definitely true. When I compare them, it's much lighter, but you're getting a lot more you're not getting a lot more, but you're getting a lot more for the price. Now, it is a fragrance oil, so it is much closer to the skin. It doesn't project very well, but when you actually smell it, it smells very good. So it's really good for layering. It's not necessarily one, I mean, I guess you could wear it on its own. It's not really one that I wear on its own, but it works really well to give a little bit of warmth to other scents. And it does have that muskiness, so it isn't really it isn't one that kind of it isn't a vanilla that drags you down. It isn't too boozy, and it isn't too kind of earthy. It's just sort of floating on top of your skin. A really nice, fluffy vanilla. Really great for layering. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is also really similar to the Vanilla Musk by Nemat, in that it's a pure vanilla that's a little lighter and fluffier than Tihota. And this is Une Vanille by Obvious. And I got this sample recently, and I was wearing it, and it just smells so nice. The dry down especially. At the beginning, it's very similar to the Vanilla Musk, just a light, fluffy vanilla. It's a little alcoholic when you first put it on, but it has this tonka bean note that really just, it rounds it out. It makes it really kind of warm, and it balances out the soft, fluffy aspects of it as well. I personally wouldn't buy a whole bottle of it just because, although it's really nice, it's still a little bit close to what you can get with the Vanilla Musk. So it just isn't quite worth the price for me. And I think if I was going to buy a full bottle of one of them, it would be Tihota. But this one is really nice. If you really like tonka bean, and you want a like subtle addition to your musky vanilla, this one is really excellent. It is a little bit quiet. It isn't a big heavy scent. It isn't so obvious. You have to get a bit close to smell it, but it smells really nice, especially after it has dried down a bit. It's really beautiful. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is, what is it called? It's called Tangier Vanille by Aerin. Is that how you pronounce it? I'm not sure, but it's an Estee Lauder brand. And this is another really gorgeous, beautiful, well-balanced vanilla. It opens with notes of bergamot and rose. And to be honest, I don't really get a lot of that, but I think it's because it's so well blended that instead it just sort of comes right out of the bottle as a sort of bright, happy vanilla scent. It's really sort of a, you smell it and you want to smile kind of scent. It's a little bit boozy because it has, well, I'm not sure why, but to me it comes off a little bit boozy, but it's definitely not overwhelming. It doesn't come off like too much like a rum scent. It's just a kind of light, happy scent. And the individual notes are kind of difficult for me to pick out. Now, I'm not an expert, so maybe other people can pick them out a bit better. But for me, I just get a really well blended mix of like light, citrusy, floral notes sort of lifting up the vanilla, which then dries down really beautifully to sort of a creamy vanilla mixed with sandalwood scent. It says that it also has amber in it. I think it's just a pretty subtle amber. It's not anything that's overwhelming. It's a really nice vanilla extract type of scent. Okay, the next one I want to talk about is one that, again, everybody will be familiar with, and it's another one where I'm not sure how much it qualifies as a musky vanilla because there's so much else going on here, and it is Gentle Fluidity Gold by Maison Francis Kurkdjian. And this is another one that obviously I can't afford a full bottle of, but this is a absolutely beautiful scent, so well blended. It's what I think of it as is a flowy river of golden vanilla over top of, or I guess underneath, these bright spikes of aromatic juniper. And the juniper is, at least on my skin, very strong. It actually is maybe a little too strong on my skin. It's not my absolute favorite, although I really love it. It can come off a little bit like medicinal. It smells a little bit like Vicks Vapor Rub sometimes. But out of the bottle, it's absolutely just gorgeous. And I think that this scent, it's paired with the Gentle Fluidity Silver, which is a much more kind of aromatic scent. This one has the sweetness of the vanilla that to me gives it a lot more balance. So this one is an absolutely beautiful and complex scent. And if you can afford a bottle, I would say absolutely go for it. It has that musky vanilla that's flowing down underneath these other notes. And it just works so beautifully with this, with the juniper and kind of green top note. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that what he's doing here is playing with the idea of gender fluidity. I think I remember hearing that from a different video, or maybe from the branding. But I think that the idea of this sort of stereotypically aromatic masculine notes are playing really well here with the stereotypically feminine sweet notes of the vanilla. And it's blended so well that, for me at least, they play as if they're part of the same thing rather than being two things that have been kind of forced together into the bottle. It's just a really lovely scent. It's not my favorite of his scents, but I would say it is in the top 3. Okay, another scent that I would really like to talk about is another one that's pretty affordable, and it's from Philosophy. I have a little bottle of it here, and it's Fresh Cream Warm Cashmere. This is so sweet. It's not cloying though. It's a kind of sweetness that it's not really gourmand. It's more like woody, woody with this like puffiness. It's kind of fluffy, creamy, and it's creamy in like a creamy sandalwood scent rather than in like a lactonic scent sort of way. It opens with this really beautiful, really sweet note, and it dries down to this creamy sandalwood note. And somebody on, I think it was Fragrantica in the review, said it smells like Fruit Loops. It does smell like Fruit Loops, but for me, even though I don't like Fruit Loops, on the skin, it's just such a comforting, warm smell. This is one I really like to wear to bed because I feel like it's just like enveloping yourself in a big fluffy blanket. It's so comforting, it's so nice. It reminds me of like waking up in the morning and wrapping yourself in a blanket even though it's cold out, and having a like bowl of Fruit Loops while you're watching Saturday morning cartoons when you're a kid, something like that. It's absolutely beautiful. I love this scent. I also like just the regular fresh cream, but that one is sort of lacking that vanilla note, so this one's my absolute favorite. I think it's my favorite Philosophy scent. I'll also say about that one, the Philosophy scent, that it has a coconut note as well. And for me, I don't often love a coconut note in perfumes because I guess it just reminds me a little bit too much of the kind of scents I would wear as like a teenager. Some people like that, and that's cool too. But for me, I don't really pick it out individually in this. I think it just gives it a bit of nuttiness that makes it really compelling and sort of tasty. Another of my favorite musky vanillas is from the house of Kayali, and I love Kayali. I have 4 of them, and my favorite of hers in terms of her vanillas, although they all I think have a bit of vanilla, is actually not Vanilla 28, because to me, I do like that one, but it smells heavily like Vicks Vapor Rub on my skin. It just smells like nothing else except that. I don't know why. But my favorite of hers for the vanilla element is actually Musk 12. Now, this scent opens with some florals, I think freesia and lotus, and you do get that right away. It opens sort of a sweet floral, but it's nothing overwhelming. It isn't kind of cloying. And the musk is, according to Fragrantica at least, it's in the middle of this scent, so it's not really in the dry down. You smell it right away, I think, right after the florals. And it's sort of like a transitionary musk, I guess. It's sort of leading you from the florals down into this vanilla sandalwood dry down that's really beautiful and subtle. And the vanilla here is present, but it is not, it's not sort of doing the heavy lifting. It's letting the musk kind of take over, which is really nice. It's blended really nicely, I think. And it's just, this is another scent that's good to kind of sleep in. It sort of envelops you. It's not anything overwhelming. Nobody around you is going to get annoyed by it. It's just a really beautiful combination of notes. I've stopped being able to smell it though. I do know that it does not last very long on my skin. My sister's the same way. It lasts about 5 minutes. So while I really like it, I really like the scent, it doesn't last very long. I think right now it's still there, but it won't last very long. For other people, maybe it will last longer. But it does smell very nice. When you really get your nose in there, that musk is absolutely so beautiful. It's so fluffy. It's so it's not powdery, but it's like a cotton ball, a really nice smelling cotton ball. And I really like it. I think it's beautiful. Okay, it's time for my absolute favorite perfume. Probably my favorite perfume in the world, or at least in the top 3, and it comes from one of my favorite houses, and it is Morn to Dusk from Eau d'Italie. And I haven't heard anybody really talk about this, except there is a video on the Lucky Scent website where the salesman gives a review of it, and he says that this is like taking a marshmallow and pressing it into your skin. And I agree. This is a powdery scent, but it isn't powdery like baby powder. It's powdery like the outside of a marshmallow, kind of powdery. It is only 4 notes, and so it's simple, but it's not simplistic. Everything in this perfume is doing exactly what it needs to do. Everything's well blended. It doesn't need anything more than those 4 notes. So it opens with a beautiful kind of balance between bergamot and lily of the valley. And I get very little of the bergamot. I also don't get too much of the lily of the valley. For me, the citrus and the florals just lift it up a little bit. The star here and the core is really the vanilla, which is the middle note. And it takes the lead, but it doesn't take the lead in that it isn't, it's almost sort of like a transformed vanilla. It's a vanilla that is lifted by these floral and citrus notes and it is also puffed up by this musk at the base. And it sort of creates this puffy vanilla cloud. And that's what I think about when I wear it, is like I'm walking into a puffy vanilla cloud, which is exactly what I want my perfumes to do. So if you also want to walk into a puffy vanilla cloud, this is a good scent for you. It's just a beautiful, it's a different kind of vanilla than I'm used to smelling. I do love my woody vanillas and I like a gourmand vanilla, but this is just musky, puffy, cloudy vanilla at its absolute best. Now other people might kind of react to this differently. I know not everything smells the same on everybody and not everybody's nose picks up the same scent. For my husband, he says this smells like cookies on my skin. I don't get that at all. For me, this is closer to like one of those little white powdered donuts. It's like, it doesn't really smell like those powdered donuts, but it has the same sort of vibe, like a baked treat, but it's not a heavy, weighty baked treat. It is fluffy and light and covered with this puffy sugar on the outside, just really light and fluffy. And I love those powdered donuts. So that's how I like, that's what the kind of baked good I want to feel like I smell like. Okay, so the very last one I want to talk about, this one doesn't even mention musk in the notes, but for me it is musky. And this is, I don't know how to pronounce this, Le Couvent is the brand, and the scent is Tinhare or Tinhare. Sorry if I mispronounced that. This one, the first time I smelled it, I couldn't smell much, but I kind of gave my nose a break, and I smelled it again, and I was able to appreciate it. It is a woody, slightly musky vanilla, not too sweet. It's really nice. It's pretty linear. It smells more or less the same the whole time, but I like that because it is just a beautiful, musky, woody vanilla. That's how I describe it. I've heard it said that it's a sort of more subtle version of Baccarat Rouge 540, and I can see that. It has some similar DNA. I would say it's like a wispy version of Baccarat Rouge. I like that though. I mean, I love Baccarat Rouge, but sometimes you want something that's a little bit puffier. And this is not like a lighter, more subtle version of Baccarat in a weak way. It's just in a softer way. I think it says it also has mandarin orange and coconut also in the notes, but I don't get those at all. I really just get vanilla, woody notes, and musk. So just those 3 things, except there's like a hint of something, I don't know, there's like a twist to it that I can't put my finger on that must be the mix of all those other notes. It's giving it something really unusual. The description says it's a diaphanous blur of, I think it says white notes. And I really get that diaphanous blur sense. Like you can't pick out exactly what's happening, but it is a blurry, fuzzy, fluffy, soft cloud. So again, that's something I like. And it's it's at its core this sort of creamy, woody vanilla lifted up with a bit of this muskiness. It's also way cheaper than Baccarat Rouge, so if that is something that appeals to you. It's still not exactly cheap though, so I still only have it in a sample form, but at some point I would like to get a larger version of it. I also have a couple honorable mentions. The first one is Essential Faith and their perfume Aura, which is an oil. The reason I have this in honorable mention is through no fault of their own. It's because the sample came to me mostly empty, so I wasn't able to smell it very well, but what I smelled was really nice. I just smelled a musky vanilla, similar to Nemat, but I'd really like to give it another try to see how it compares. It's a lot pricier, but it seems like it could be a really nice scent. So if anybody knows anything about that scent, I'd love to hear how you guys feel about it. I have another honorable mention, and it's Tease Crème Cloud from Victoria's Secret. I don't have a full bottle of this, though I'd like to get one at some point. And this one, more than any other, reminds me of Morn to Dusk, in that it's a really fluffy, light vanilla, and it's kind of difficult to pick out the precise notes that are happening. But there is something about it that is a little bit, you can tell that maybe the ingredients aren't quite as high quality. I really like the scent, but it has a bit of a sharpness to it that I think the Morn to Dusk doesn't really have. I still like it a lot. It's a fluffy scent. It's vanilla. I think it has a meringue note, and it has the musk, and it has some florals as well. So it's really pretty. It's, I think, my favorite Victoria's Secret scent. I also like Bear, but I think it works really well, but it's just not quite on the level with the others, in my opinion. And the last one I want to mention, this one doesn't necessarily, I don't know if it's cheating to call this one a musky vanilla, because it doesn't actually have musk in it, but it does have like a creamy sandalwood, and it has ambroxan in it. I don't know, I think something about those two are creating this musky sense. I know ambroxan is used to create an artificial musk scent, so maybe that is what it is. And this scent is Amo Ferragamo from Salvatore Ferragamo. I just smelled this recently, and I don't have a bottle of it, so I've only smelled it the once, so I can't really give an in-depth review, but I really liked the scent. I thought it was kind of complex and interesting in a way that I'm not too used to. And it has a Campari note at the top, so, but it isn't sort of overwhelmingly boozy or alcoholic. It just gives it a sort of round fruitness that isn't too cloying. So it's a really nice scent, vanilla at its core, but this bit of fruitiness and this sense of muskiness on the dry down. So those are all the scents I wanted to mention. I would also love to hear from you if there's any kind of musky vanillas that anybody has in mind that I didn't mention. I would love to hear. I'm still new to the community, so I would love any feedback on suggestions for different scents to try. And if anybody watches this, thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day.